touch me and see what happens was said at least 10 times a day at my high school. At least 10 times, okay? Guess what? Nobody got stabbed, okay? Getting your ego tested does not give you permission to kill somebody.
The donations that have been flooding in for Karmelo Anthony have been at the center of the conversation surrounding the Austin Metcalf case. And personally, I think it's absolutely disgusting that someone can use one of these money-raising platforms to raise money off the murder of a white child. And some people will say, well, why did you bring up race? Why do you have to bring up race? Well, you see, there are young black kids, Austin Metcalf's age, that are getting killed in cities all across America. And not a single red cent is raised for any of them. This community does not come together and raise money for any of them. But when someone murders a white child, this community is ready and willing to come together and just fork over hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, some people are giving their last. They're at home eating ramen noodles because they donated all of their money to Karmelo Anthony, and they feel good about it because they feel like this is a slap in the face of the white man. This is us getting back for what white people did to us. It's a really crazy mentality, but it's a real mentality nonetheless, and it's been put on display here for the last couple of weeks. So I see arguments out there saying that, oh, well, Karmelo Anthony deserves to have the best legal defense possible. People should be able to raise money for their legal defense. And I've seen a lot of people try to compare this to other cases like Kyle Rittenhouse and other cases like that. You cannot compare this case to any of the cases that people are trying to compare it to, because none of those cases involve kids stabbing or a kid stabbing another kid in the chest at a school track meet. You can't compare these other stories to this situation. I think it's laughable that people are trying to do so. So all of the counter arguments that are out there, they're weak and I can destroy them in a millisecond. But, as far as the people go who say, oh, Karmelo has the right to raise money for a legal defense and yada, 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 okay. All right, let's just say I give you that, right? But let's actually look at what money is being raised for. This money is not being raised just for a legal defense. It's being raised for whatever Karmelo's family wants to spend it on. And it would be one thing if these people were donating like, hey, here's money for your legal defense. Hey, we hope you can afford a good lawyer. Here's some money for, an attorney. But that's not the case. This is not let's raise money for Karmelo's legal defense. No, it's hey, everyone chip in and show how much you hate white people. This is I hate white people fund. That's what this is. It has nothing to do with Karmelo's defense. It has everything to do with there being a bunch of racist people out there that don't like white people, and they feel like sending their money to this cause is in some way an attack. It's get back, it's revenge, or something along those lines. And this is not like a personal opinion of mine that I just sat up here and came up with. I've been looking at the comments that are coming in on Karmelo's donation page. And like 85, maybe 90% of the comments are all like just evil, hateful comments towards white people. And this is why I was saying, like, it's one thing if this, fund was being used to raise money for his defense. But the people donating money are literally leaving comments, letting it be known, hey, we hate white people. Here's some money. We really don't like white people. Here's $5. Hey, we should all get together and hurt white people. Here's $10. And I'm kind of dumbfounded. Like when you read the comments, it's kind of mind-blowing that there's a platform out here that will allow this. And, it goes without saying that if this was the other way around, this would not be allowed. Sure, people can raise money for their legal defense. You're not going to convince me that these platforms would allow thousands of people to just spread all types of racial, hateful messages all over their platform while donating money. But that is what is happening when it comes to Karmelo Anthony's little fundraiser here. In fact, I just want to read for you all a couple of comments so you get an understanding. And if you want, you could go check it out for yourself. It's some crazy stuff, y'all. But I'm going to read a couple of comments. But first, if you guys like what you're seeing, if you like the videos, if you like what you're hearing, consider hitting that like button and maybe consider supporting the channel via Cash App or Super Thanks. It is always greatly appreciated. But let's go ahead and dive into these crazy comments. White tears are delicious. Drop the charges. Why was the innocent brother charged? Karmelo is the victim. To white terrorists, if you try to harm Karmelo or our judge, they should know no mercy, like your satanic asses showed no mercy when you voted to acquit race soldiers who wanted Rodney King dead. I absolutely hate you, R-words, C-words, with all my heart. Racist whites deserve to be unalived, not all white people. That bully Klansman closed the gap first while trying to rob you and got sent to meet his maker, aka Satan. This is America. You better carry something to defend yourself. You did nothing wrong. You are a good kid. You spared your life that day through that blade. You are him. You made that right choice. You could have suffered significant bodily harm or death. Racist, uncivilized Neanderthals can't stop complaining, therefore I can't stop donating. It's my new addiction. When your addiction for racism stops, maybe my addiction for donating will too. Until then, deal with it. Free Karmelo now. Hero, innocent, inspirational, motivation, love, peace, prosperity, longevity, defender, and justice for Karmelo. Now, this is just a few comments taken right off the top. We could literally sit here all day and go through these comments, and I may even put out a couple of videos just reading through some of them, because as hateful as they are, I'm getting a good laugh out of some of them because they're just so damn ignorant, right? Like, some stuff is like it's vile, it's disgusting, it's evil. Why would anyone say that? But at the same time, it's like, it's so outlandish and ignorant that anyone would say this that I can't help but kind of chuckle at it. You guys understand what I'm saying? But yeah, this whole little donation thing is just chocked to the brim. It is packed filled with nothing but hateful, vile comments towards white people, most of which I can't really read here on YouTube. These are kind of the nicer comments. I know that sounds crazy, but these were some of like the nicer comments that I felt like maybe I could get away with reading here. That's how bad, it is over there. And this is what worries me. Because you see, Karmelo's family and the activist group that is representing Karmelo's family, they know why they're getting all of this money. All of this money isn't rolling in because, people want Karmelo to get a really good lawyer. All of this money isn't rolling in because people just care about Karmelo. Because if people were so thoughtful and caring, they would care about the kids that they actually know who are getting murdered in their actual communities on a daily basis, right? But they just, it's just another day. Just another day in the hood. Who cares that he died? We'll put him on a t-shirt and that's about it, right? So if these people were really so thoughtful and compassionate about this situation, they would show the same energy to the situations happening in their own towns, in their own neighborhoods, in their own cities, what have you, right? But they're not. What they're passionate about is their disdain and their hate for white people. Karmelo's family and the activist group that is representing them, they understand this, okay? And what I'm afraid of is they're going to lean into it even harder until something really bad happens. Because I feel like we're lucky that nothing else has come out of this case yet. And it's clear, at least to me, that some people want something to happen here, right? They're not swatting Austin's dad every freaking day for no reason. They're not running around and mocking Austin's death and parading around like they're so happy about it for no reason. They want someone to get angry. They want someone to do something stupid. So I'm afraid that as time goes on, the more Karmelo and this activist group understand that this money isn't coming in for Karmelo, it's coming in because of, anti-white mentality, they're going to lean into that even heavier if they want these donations to keep flooding in. So if you think for 1 second that you have heard the last from Karmelo's family or his little representatives, you are sadly mistaken, folks. You have to understand your enemy, right? You have to understand what you're up against. You have to understand how people operate. And the way you come to an understanding is by observing. And I've observed a lot of people who act just like this. And I've observed cases in the past, not like this one, but I understand how things can get when you're dealing with such a serious situation, right? So we're dealing with people who like to throw rocks and then hide their hands. For the last couple of weeks, Karmelo's camp has been doing nothing but throwing rocks. Every day, just throwing rocks every day, right? But now we're in the portion, now we're at the part where they hide their hands. That's why the last couple of days have been kind of quiet. Because Karmelo's family, they're banking on someone doing something stupid so they can then, once again, play the victim, drum up all the racial hate again, and then get a lot more money coming in. Now, they thought they had an opportunity for that when there was that little Austin Metcalf protest. And then they planned a counter protest for Karmelo. The only problem was this plan did not work. No one really showed up on either side, right? Karmelo's little activist group that is supporting him and speaking for him, they were banking on that day. They were going to use that day to create a whole new narrative moving forward. That's why the very next day after the little protest, Karmelo's activist group, they already had a little press release ready that they were going to release all of this evidence that Karmelo's family was being harassed. Do you think it's a coincidence that this press release literally came the day after the Austin Metcalf protest? That literally the next day they report, oh, we have to move Karmelo to a top secret location. Here's evidence that Karmelo's family is being harassed. They're scared for their life. They're being threatened. Mind you, all they had was like a video or two of people delivering pizzas to their house. They didn't have any real evidence, but it lets you know that they already had a plan, right? They already planned that, hey, we're going to have this protest go on, then we're going to act like a victim, we're going to lean into the racial stuff even harder, and we're going to get more money. The plan didn't go the way they wanted it to go, but if you watch how the events played out, and I always tell people on my channel, pay attention to the timing of things. If you watch how things played out, you can tell they had a plan, it just didn't go the way they wanted it to. But don't worry, they still got more tricks up their sleeve, which is why they probably shouldn't be allowed to raise money on these platforms. Because now they have a financial incentive to stir more drama, to cause more problems, right? They don't care who gets hurt in the process. They don't care if this spills out to violence on the streets. No, now they're worried about the money that's rolling into their GoFundMe. And as I was explaining all the way at the beginning of this video, if all of this money was being raised for Karmelo's legal defense, that's one thing. I still don't agree with it, but that's one thing. It's an entirely different thing when all of this money is being raised simply because of some people's hate for another group of people, for another race of people. Because that's what's happening here. There's no need to sugarcoat anything, right? This is not just raising money for Karmelo's legal defense, and even Karmelo's family has had to admit that now. They've come out and admitted, after crying on the press conference, they straight up admitted that, yeah, this money's going to go to houses, cars, and you name it. And for the most part, Karmelo's supporters don't care. But a few of them, I've been online, I've seen a few of them start to wake up to what's going on here. A few of them have realized that they're getting played now. But I want to go ahead and roll this clip of someone who is actually calling out Karmelo's family for the same thing that I'm calling them out about right now. And then after I roll this clip, I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Do you guys remember when Carmelo Anthony's crybaby ass mama went in front of the cameras and said,
and let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false?
well, now on the fundraiser, it says that that is what they use the money for. So she went ahead and lied in front of the cameras and then unapologetically admitted to it, just like her son unapologetically admitted to killing Austin as soon as he did it. And then their spokesperson is a child abuser, a woman abuser, and then wanted to blame some of this on the fact that it was raining that day. Now for me, I don't fucking care what the color of your skin is. If you're a good person, you're a good person. If you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. It could really all just be that simple. I'm not sitting here holding anybody or any race accountable for what my ancestors went through. But what I will say is anybody who's defending this kid and this family does not have my respect. It doesn't matter if you look like me or not. The message that's being sent to the younger generation is that if you poke somebody for little to no reason, and yes, it was little to no reason, argue with your mother, not me, then not only will you possibly get away with it, but you'll be paid for it. Your family will be paid for it. There'll be something good that'll come from it, depending on the color of your skin and depending on the crime that you commit. And that is some disturbing shit.
Now, if you like what you see, share the video on social media and consider donating via Cash App or Super Thanks. It's greatly appreciated. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, the more I watch this situation play out, the less angry and frustrated I get by the money and stuff that's flooding in. I don't even care. They can raise as much money as they want because I believe in the long run, it's just going to make them look worse. And they're going to spend money on ridiculous things. And even the people who have donated will probably wind up turning on them and getting upset at some point, at least some of them. And I think some of that may already be happening. But here's the question that I have. Because we can debate over what's right or wrong all day. What's right or wrong morally, right? But I feel like there's a possibility here. I'm no expert. But this whole entire fundraising situation that went on behind Karmelo, I feel like there's definitely some deception here. Like, regardless if Karmelo's donators and supporters care or not, they were lied to. And I don't know if this is legal. Because Karmelo's family raised almost like $500,000, right? That was supposed to be for Karmelo's legal defense. And then once they got access to the money, right? Once they get access to the money, they updated the fundraiser to clearly state that they plan on buying transportation, they plan on moving into a new house, they plan on hiring security, they plan on doing this, they plan on doing all of that. None of these things were openly stated. None of this was made clear until after like $500,000 was raised and the family started sticking their little greedy fingers into it. So I just don't understand how that's legal or how that's okay. You can't raise $500,000 for someone's legal defense, and then when you get the money, update the fundraiser and say, oops, never mind, guys. Actually, we're getting a house. We're getting a new car. We're going to go get a new waffle maker. We're going to go, we're going to go get the Nintendo Switch 2. We're camping outside of GameStop right now to get the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-order. We're going to go over here. We're going to get all the new J's that drop on Saturday. That's not okay. Not only is that morally wrong, but I think that may be legally wrong. And I'm wondering how this platform feels about that. Which obviously the platform's just going to allow whatever because they're taking a percentage of the money probably, so they don't even care. But I don't know. I think that's really odd. Because when you do one of these fundraisers, you're supposed to clearly let people know what you're raising money for. And the money is supposed to go to that purpose, right? You don't raise $100,000 for medical bills and then spend that $100,000 to go to Hawaii. Like I don't think that's even legal. So I'm wondering why no one's really talking about this. Like everyone was like, haha, look, Karmelo's family, they updated the fundraiser page. Now they're telling the truth. They're getting a car and they're getting a house. Ha ha ha. We were right. It's like, yeah, we were all right. But wait, how is this okay? How do you raise $500,000 and then for one reason, then get access to the money and tell people, oh, wait, sorry, guys, just in case we weren't clear. It's not just for legal defense. Like, sure, we may give the lawyer a couple of dollars, but really the bulk of this money is going to getting us houses and cars and stuff, cool stuff. I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me, and I'm just wondering if we're going to hear anything about that, because I just do not think that's even legal. But we know that we live in a country where there's a legal system that doesn't show the same treatment to certain people. So Karmelo's family and Karmelo, I guess they're just allowed to do whatever they want to do. And that's the message that they've been sent. And that's the message that is being sent to people just like them. So unfortunately, we're going to see a lot more Karmelos, and we're going to see a lot more people like Karmelo's family. Because why wouldn't we? They're raising hundreds of thousands of dollars, lying, doing whatever the hell they want. And they have the support of an entire community behind them. So, like I said, just get ready for Karmelo 2.0. He's coming soon. But for now, you guys let me know what you think down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next video.